from Miami, welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where this afternoon we are set to do battle once again for Gen 4 action in the Sunshine State. My name is Ola Ramble alongside Lucas Moody here this afternoon as we bring you all of racing action from start to finish of what is no doubt expected to be a barn burner here this afternoon. Lucas, it is of course the next round here of racing action for the SRA Gen 4 Series. Race number 5 set to kick off in just a few minutes time, and it's bound to be a good one as 150 miles set to kick off in the sunset of Miami.
It's going to be an absolutely amazing race on this east coast of America, the east coast of Florida, around this bright teal track that is, of course, Homestead-Miami. This is a track that creates so much great racing, and if we are brought a good setup here today by iRacing, we can get some great multi-groove racetracks, multiple lines being able to be used by these drivers, and with the track temp of 80 degrees Fahrenheit, very, very cold, there's going to be a lot of grip out there for these drivers' disposal.
Pretty much optimal track conditions here for a stellar race this afternoon. Just as every race this season has been, it has been quite the championship run so far. As we take a look at who is on top of the boards, it remains Zane Bailey for the time being. He stands atop Michael Gudger. These are, of course, the live championship standings as they run after qualifying here this afternoon. Paul Witt's situated back there in third. He's looking to have a good afternoon here as well. Cody Gibson, starting on pole position right now, is slated to leave this race in the number 5 spot, assuming he can walk away with a win here this afternoon. So quite a few points still on the line, and for many drivers, this championship only in its infancy, and they are doing a good job on trying to make sure that they can have a good fight going forward.
Yeah, and of course, those points aren't exactly the most correct because it does take in the qualifying results that have come through, but that gap between Zane Bailey and Michael Gudger for first and second, that is a 9-point gap. So very, very tight, very, very close. There's a lot that can change, a lot that can happen with a gap being as small as 9 points. And Cody Gibson, in that one car, I believe, he's kind of the shocker of where he is in the point standings. Of course, remember, he was the one that won all the way back at Old Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. He is currently sitting 8th. But if I remember correctly, he's qualified pretty high today, and I'm sure we'll see that in a couple seconds when we look at the qualifying order.
But of course, before we look at that, let's talk about the track a bit more, shall we, as the sun just finishes dipping below the horizon here this afternoon. But you mentioned it right, Teal Walls, a track that is multi-groove in nature. This track used to be a rectangle when it was actually first introduced, much like Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was quickly converted to a bit of a flatter oval. The high bank, progressive banking that we see here at the track nowadays was not really introduced until the end of 2003, and it has remained the same ever since. A fan favorite for most, and a place where the NASCAR Cup Series Championship is slated to return, thankfully. So a lot of action anticipated here over the next 100 laps. So Homestead's never a track to disappoint.
Yeah, I absolutely love this track. It is so much fun to just rip the high line around here. You turn in, you use your, you chuck the car in, on that entry, you use all those front tires, that entire first half of the corner, you're just really focusing on turning the car and using those front tires. And then about halfway through the corner, you slam on the gas, get that car rotated, start driving it with your rears. You get this really nice even tire wear, fronts in the first part of the corner, rears in the second part of the corner, and it really feels good. It's really quick, and just driving the car with your rears right on the limit, ripping that high line, is one of the most amazing feelings that you can have in this game.
We're going to take a rundown of your starting grid, entering racing action here this afternoon. Started on pole position, we mentioned it before, it's Cody Gibson with a 33.100. Started at the top of the boards, he starts alongside Zane Bailey. Two-time winner so far this season. He is looking for number 3 here this afternoon. Row number 2 on the grid, it's going to be Michael Gudger. Team IL bringing up the LSU number 64 Ford Fusion. He runs alongside Paul Witt for Team IL with the admin box 429. Row number 3 on the grid, it's Aaron Raymond bringing up the Kellogg's number 6 for Raymond Motorsports. He runs up alongside last week's winner, Elliot Kandra, with an Napa Auto Parts 09. Row 4 on the grid, bring it up for Dylan Wilbers. The Slim Jim, number 16, going to be lined up alongside Aaron May, running a bit of a different scheme here this afternoon. And closing out the top 10 of the grid, it's James Yerger, the Home Depot number 19. He'll start 19th alongside Mark Arthur's Taco Bell number 12, down in 10th.
And then starting in 11th will be that 40 Chevy Monte Carlo of Tanner Marr, lining up alongside that 13 of Ted Rekich. And then just behind them in 13th position will be that 17 of Noah Swafford, and alongside will be the 39 of Ryan Wayne. Then moving on to 15th position, it is that, of course, that Kellogg's with Tony the Tiger on the front. That's the 43 machine of Larry Bell, lining up alongside that 38 of Thomas Lane Jr. And then starting in 17th, a second off of the pole position lap, is that 24 of Joshua Burke, alongside the 75 of William McKellar IV. And then in 19th, is going to be the 71 of Mike Campbell, alongside the 5 of John Bowata Jr., and then finishing off in 21st position, it is Jim Coleman'sberger, and that will be your field.
21 cars all gridded up, just waiting on the order from iRacing to roll off for the one and only pace lap here this afternoon. Expected to be a fun show here this afternoon. So far, 3 different winners on the season, only 1 repeat winner, being that of one Zane Bailey, winning races 2 and 4 on the season here. New time winner last week coming in here was, of course, Elliot Kandra in the 0-1, taking his first SRA win of his career. What do you reckon? Think we get another first-time winner here this afternoon, or are we going to be in it to win it here this afternoon and get another repeat one?
I mean, I'm always hoping for the surprise winners. It just makes the race more exciting. It just adds excitement to the overall vibe of everything, as our last week winner, Elliot Kandra, having some trouble getting that clutch activated to get that car into gear, but now that he's got it, he's off and on the racetrack. And no, I don't think you were here last week, so you didn't see how he won, but he won in a brilliant fuel strategy race, where he finished like 10 seconds ahead of second place because he was able to save his fuel, played it really well, and took that 09 Napa car to his first win of the season.
Well, the field going to work their way up onto the back straightaway for the first time here this afternoon. Several drivers still looking to catch up here from the tail end of the grid. Gotta hustle if you want to catch up to the back end of this one. Working our way to turn numbers 3 and 4. This race expected to be a wild one here, as Homestead-Miami Speedway, a track that has been well serving for Gen 4 stock car racing in the past, and it is expected to be no different here this afternoon. We're happy you're joining us for more racing action here on Green Flag TV as the Ironton pace car pulls down into pit road. Time to get the party started in the United Rentals restart zone. It's go, go, go! And Bailey with a good launch into turn number 1. Already Zane Bailey looking for the extreme outside line, kicking the tail end out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Down the straightaways, he'll look on for the speed shot on the outside wall. Looking for the inside is going to be Aaron Raymond trying to hunt down the inside of Cody Gibson. Right now, Michael Gudger already up 1 as he's cleared to second place into turns 1 and 2. And again, Raymond nearly gets it to Gibson in turn 2. Aaron May sideways on the back straightaway as well.
As Zane Bailey showing how to effectively use that outside line, not only using it to take the lead even before they got to the back straightaway, but also ripping it and bring out a half a second gap to Michael Gudger already. And there we go, Cody Gibson running that high line, not able to keep Aaron Raymond behind. That moves our pole sitter down to 4th. Aaron Raymond in the 6th, going up to 3rd now. Not the best of start for our pole sitter, Cody Gibson, but maybe he's playing the long game. Maybe he's already starting to save those tires. I don't know if I would lose this much track position to do that, but making the long game, you know, sometimes you just have to.
Well, remember, in qualifying, you got to be quick for a lap. In a race, you got to be quick for 100 of them. So we'll see if Gibson has some of that long run pace to battle back later on down the line. Mark Arthur and Aaron May side by side to the front straightaway. Arthur going to make that look down the inside at turn 1. Aaron May up the racetrack, trying to see if he can cling on as he works his way to the back.
Yeah, once again, Aaron May showing off how good that outside line is. Mark Arthur's trying to send it on the inside, and in the middle of the corner, you can see they'll get like about even, you know, door to door. But by the time they exit that corner, by the time they get down that straight, look at the speed that 10 car has. But actually, they're kind of proving me wrong here as he doesn't get too much ahead. Mark Arthur is still there. He might be able to clear him here if he sends it up. But this is a battle for second place. It's Aaron Raymond on the top of Michael Gudger.
Raymond on the move early on here this afternoon. He wants to go, go, go. And, well, Mark Arthur going to be forced to tuck back in line, unfortunately, here. Not able to have a lunge, although he's going to try to battle back on the exit of turn 4. Raymond, though, pulls the top lane, gets clear, and he's going to run away with it down the front straightaway back towards turn number 1. Fights on elsewhere in the pack, as here is James Yerger and Tanner Marr trying to go side by side through 1 and 2.
Yeah, once again, that outside line is what the 40's running, but he hits the wall just a little bit too close. That's going to give Yerger and that 19 Home Depot machine the better run going into turn 3, and that clears him, and the 40 makes a crucial mistake and loses that 12th position. But now further up in the field is our previous winner of the 09 Elliott Condra in the inside of Paul Witt of that 429 car. This is a battle for 5th place, top 5, so this is a huge points paying position right here. I said position like 3 too many times that sentence, but it is the 09 on the inside of the 420.
Kendra trying to make a run down the inside of Paul Witt. We'll see if he can pull it off, and so you're right on board with Kendra. Up top of him is that 429 of Witt. Oh, bit tangled up there for just a moment as Paul Witt gonna get the drive back around the outside with the Apple Box 429. Kendra trying to hold him up there, trying to keep him from getting too much of a rumble, getting a run himself. Not going to work, though. He gets loose. Has to lift down. Big bobble there for Kendra. And Paul Witt skates away with 5th place. Kendra's going to fall now to Aaron May, and now he's on defense.
Yeah, this is why a lot of drivers like this car. It's difficult to drive. You know, you can understeer on the exit of the corner. You can oversteer on the exit of the corner. You can be loose, you can be tight. It's really about how the driver's feeling it. And you can see the struggles that these drivers are having, and you can see that the better drivers are able to keep managing their car quicker. But once again, the battle for 3rd now, it's going to be Cody Gibson on the outside of Michael Gudger. Remember, Cody Gibson was your pole sitter. Michael Gudger was able to get the jump on him and get that 2nd place. Aaron Raymond now has the 2nd place, and Michael Gudger is now under threat from that 1 machine, and it's a whole hornet's nest behind them as there are 1, 2, 3 cars, actually like 6 or 7 cars waiting for these two to make a mistake so that they can pounce on it.
It's been a bit of a rough ride for Cody Gibson as he has been unable to make a big lunge here to get around Michael Gudger just behind them. Look at Aaron May. Look at this whole hornet's nest here really as Aaron May has got Mark Arthur right behind him along with others, all being a bit of a pain in the tail, so to speak, as Gibson tried to hold on against Gudger, and this side-by-side has started to stack up a massive group.
Yeah, we're too wide, very, very far back here, and too wide for almost 4 rows. For this 4th position, I love seeing this pack racing where it's kind of chaotic, and it almost looks like we're at a super speedway type track. And I love that, my prediction of the beginning of this race is coming true, that this is a multi-groove racetrack. The outside line works well, the inside line works well, and we're really able to see drivers attacking each other with these fresh tires, and they're really fighting for this position hard. It's so good to watch. Just really, really great racing, as Cody Gibson did get past Michael Gudger for that last podium position. So now the job of that 1 car is going to be to reel in that 6 car and see if he can make himself and Michael Gudger in contention for the win of this race.
Well, right now, the 16 of Wilbur's trying to launch down the inside of Paul Witt. Witt all the way up to the outside groove. Already, we are over a 10th of the way through the race in action here this afternoon, working now lap 13 of just 100. It's a quick race. Look at Aaron May. Aaron May with a big dive to the inside. Clears Mark Arthur. Arthur unable to get the drive back around. And meanwhile, behind him, Kandra trying to get a drive up with Dylan Wilbers at the Slim Jim Monte Carlo. Down on the inside line. Kandra may have just scraped the wall entering turn 3.
Yeah, and that gap to first, I'm going to divert our attention a little bit here, Nolan, but that gap to first was 2 seconds just about 8 laps ago. And look at this, Aaron Raymond is bringing that gap down by 1 or 2 tenths a lap. Zane Bailey has not opted for that high side line in a long time now. Remember, if you remember earlier, he was loving that high side line, doing what I talked about earlier in the pre-race show, where you use the fronts on the entrance, you use the rears on the exit, get a really good tire balance. He's no longer opted for that line as we get a caution. That will save Zane Bailey because Aaron Raymond was getting very close to him.
Caution flag is out for the first time here this afternoon. It is Paul Witt down on the inside of the racetrack. Unfortunate news for him as he will bring out the caution flag for the first time here this afternoon for the driver out of Fraser.
Yeah, it does look like the car's not too much damaged, so probably won't have to spend that one and only fast repair just yet, but being put to the tail end of the field is never something that you want to have happen to you. And Mike Campbell, that 71 machine, he's also many, many seconds behind the pack, so I even wonder if he was caught up in that as well.
Take a jump back. This is how this caution flag comes about. And he just lost it by himself. Coming off of turn number 2. He's going to slide down. Keeps his foot in the throttle. He's going to fully spin the car around, yes, but he did do a great job to keep that car off of the inside wall.
Yeah, you said it. Great job of not only keeping it off the inside wall, but keeping it off of the track. Because, you know, if you see a car spinning on the infield and the caution is not out yet, you're not going to lift. You're still full throttling it. So really good job from that 429 to, yes, keep it off the inside wall, but also keep it off of the racing surfaces. Once again, just, yeah, too much throttle as the car, as that banking is lowering and that car is getting high on the rear side. It is really, really tough if you have too much throttle, and the car is able to snap out from under you very, very easily, and that's what happened there. And, you know, common mistake, so don't feel bad. If you're a 429 fan or the 429 driver, that's something that happens to everybody a lot.
Few drivers have opted to come down pit road. In fact, everyone has opted to come down pit road. Not one driver has stayed out this time through, so everyone is going to be in for service. Now, the big question is, who's in for tires and who's in for fuel? Aaron Raymond has taken 4 tires. Bailey, Gudger, Arthur, Rekich, they have all taken fuel only, which is going to make this a bit of a wild restart here. Coming at you as we'll get set to restart this race at the end of lap 8, going on to lap 18.
And this pit stop does make a lot of sense. In the SRA, these drivers can usually have their fuel tank for about 30 laps is usually what we see. So, of course, you know, you pit at lap 16, 30 laps from there is 46, and then 76, and then that last pit stop will be, or that second pit stop, I should say, will be the last one you have to make. So using this fuel offset, even though they only ran that tank for about 15 laps, taking the free pit stop is definitely worth it here because now all of these drivers on the grid have a guaranteed 2 pit stops left and they don't have to worry about fuel saving anymore. And as we're coming to green now, it'll be Zane Bailey leading us to the green flag this time. Not Cody Gibson, who was unfortunately down into 5th. Remember, he was our pole sitter. And it's going to be Michael Gudger once again starting in 2nd. So starting in 2nd on the start. It's going to start in 2nd on this restart. And Ted Rekich, I believe, was one of the drivers that didn't take tires. Yes, he did not take tires. He's going to be starting in 3rd. So Zane Bailey, Michael Gudger, and Ted Rekich all didn't take tires, and Mark Arthur as well. who's in fourth. So your top 4 drivers, they only are on fuel. Everybody behind is on 4 set of new Goodyear tires, and it's going to be Zane Bailey in that 20 machine leading us off to the green. He gets a great jump, puts Michael Gudger in the dust, and Mark Arthur behind is going to hold on to the third, but not if Cody Gibson has anything to say about it.
Already, Ted Wreckage getting swallowed up by the field. Same with Mark Arthur as Aaron Raymond tries to go around the both of them to the back. Straight away, Wreckage gets a little bit crossed up. He's able to keep that car, though, pointed in the right direction. Zane Bailey trying to maintain his pace up on the outside. Michael Gudger quickly reeling him in. So is Aaron Raymond on the inside line. One car strikes the wall coming out of turn 4. That, I believe, may have been Cody Gibson.
And remember, Aaron Raymond is on a fresh 4 set of tires. For Zane Bailey and Michael Gudger, their tires are 19 laps old at this point, so that 6 car, he's going to have a lot of pace in that thing. He's going to want to push, but I believe that we have a battle for the lead. It's Gudger on the inside of Zane Bailey. The yellow and purple car looking to make the move to first. He does, and Michael Gudger will now lead us for the first time this race.
Gudger up to the point. Will Zane Bailey try to look back to the inside for the race lead? He will not, so Gudger going to retain. Here comes Aaron Raymond down to the inside. Raymond gonna have to go around the hard way here for Zane Bailey, while the rest of the field files down the backstretch. Aaron Raymond going to slip through into second and quickly size it up Gudger for first.
Yeah, just look at the pace difference between the 6 and the 20 car there. Aaron Raymond, you know, he just has so much pace in those tires. You saw it was really, really hard to pass somebody using that inside line just about 10 laps ago. But with that tire delta that he was able to make by pitting 4 tires on that last stop, you can see that he is getting by the 20 car with ease. He's probably going to be able to do the same thing to the 64 car right here. It's just like a knife through butter, as a couple times running this inside line, he's going to get himself clear. And now down the main straight, they're going into 1. Aaron Raymond will once again dive to the inside line and just might be able to get it done right here.
Fighting onward here as Gudger continues to try and scrap this out with Michael Gudger. Aaron Raymond still trying to get his way through. There was also a bit of a 3 wide moment deeper in the field. Now that's going on. Raymond right to the left rear quarter panel. Gives a bit of an arrow push to the LSU number 64. Gudger keeps it together. And still he hangs on for the lead out of turn 4 down the front.
Yeah, and here he goes. I like that strategy play from Aaron. He said, you know, if this low line isn't working, I'm going to side draft you, get up to your quarter panel, take that outside line away from you, use that momentum slide job in the very next corner. And that is a great move from Aaron Raymond. Just absolutely brilliant. Not only the way he set it up, but the execution as well. That is a great job done from that 6 car.
And Gudger not looking to fight this one all that hard. He knows Raymond's the quicker car right now in the fresh rubber, so he's just going to let him get away with it. He knows, hey, long race, plenty of time to get this back later. Ted Wreckage right now going side by side with Dylan Wilbers, while the 39 of Ryan Wayne looking for 3 up the middle. Well, it won't be 3 with Wilbers. It will be 3 with McKellar down to the inside for a moment.
Yeah, I love those 3 wide looks because they're so much fun if you're able to get the run. Wreckage is really, really loose here, Nolan. I don't know if you're picking that up, but he is struggling with those rear tires. And remember, he didn't come to pit. You know, those are 24 lap old rear tires on that 13 machine. And you can tell he is struggling. You can tell the 39 and the 75 of Wayne and McKellar want to get around him. But Wreckage, is doing a great job of not letting them do that. He's loose again. That's contact. That's going to be a caution flag.
Around goes Wreckage, and he's going to get drilled by a couple of cars. The 5 of John Buwalda Jr. just misses him. Wreckage with big damage, and same story for Thomas Lane Jr., who had nowhere to go. That was just unfortunate timing all around. And let's look back at what happened to bring us under the yellow flag once again. Already there you can see Wreckage started to get sideways. Right here you see that wheel start to turn back to the right. And unfortunately, nowhere for Ryan Wayne to go. He's going to run into the back of the Recon Brewery number 13. Cody Gibson was sideways up the road as well. And then here comes Lane with nowhere to go. He's going to just clip the back bumper. Spear down to the inside, and Bawalda just misses him as well.
It's good to see that Tony the Tiger has survived that incident. Do not want my precious Frosted Flakes mascot to get hurt, but yeah, Nolan, I kind of saw it coming just many laps before that 13 was getting really loose. Got just too loose that time. Ryan Wayne just didn't have enough time to react to how quickly that 13 had to slow his car down. And that is what caused that incident on that occasion. And like I said, this track really uses those rear tires, especially if you're riding that high line. And fresh tires are going to help a lot here, especially if you don't want to lose control of your car.
Aaron Raymond pulls down into pit road, as does everybody else. And we'll get a look on board with both Cody Gibson and then John Bawalda Jr. Quite a few cars putting only fuel into the car this time by. McKellar, May, and Witt, in fact, staying out this time by as well. Only Zane Bailey and Michael Gudger come down to pit road as well. This is going to be on board with Cody Gibson to the number 1. He was actually in front of the incident. This was completely unrelated, but he also stepped the back end out coming out of turn 4. Did a good job to pull that car up and get it underneath them. John Bawalda Jr. then as well, having a close shave.
Yeah, this is going to be a great onboard viewing here as you get to see how he's able to keep that car off of the 13. He thinks he goes low inside, high. As great reaction time from him, because it looks like that 13 stopped moving, moves down the last second, and that 5 car does a great job of turning hard right to avoid him.
Green flag coming out next time by for lap number 28 on the afternoon. And, well, this championship going to continue to pick up as the intensity moves along. Next week, it'll be 125 laps around the Monster Mile for the Gen 4 machinery at Dover Motor Speedway. I know, Lucas, you're going to be coming off of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series' Indy 500 just before that race takes place. You looking forward to it, though? Be a bit of a long day for you.
Let's hope I can cook some dinner in between the races. is going to be my goal for that. But now I'm excited for it. You got the Indy 500, and of course another SRA race, which I love casting these SRA races. They're always so much fun. There's always a lot of strategy involved, and they always bring us good action and good accidents and crashes as well. Which, you know, for sometimes you just want to see cars go around. Like, it's just the excitement, the fun. Sometimes it's just what you want to see, and SRA will always bring that.
Green flag coming out this time by once again as the field gets on the loud pedal. Aaron May doesn't go as May is struggling to keep pace. McKellar and Witt get clear into turn numbers 1 and 2, and now already Aaron May swamped as he has put 3 wide with Gibson and Raymond.
Yeah, those old tires not doing that 10 car a favor. Remember, it's Aaron May, William McKellar IV, and Paul Witt, who are all on 13-lap old tires to start off this stint. They're going to be at a huge disadvantage, and they're just going to be looking to rip the high line and trying to hold as many positions as they can. But as I say that 75 machine getting a great jump here, actually.
You also got to remember as well, quite a few drivers actually did not come down for tires on the pit stop. A lot of them are field only. The first driver that's actually on fresh tires is Zane Bailey back here in the 9th place spot. He's got a lot of cars on field only. He's got to try to work his way through up the road. There goes Tanner Marr. He's looking to the inside of Dylan Wilbers, and Bailey might try to look for the outside of 3 wide. The one of only the 2 other cars on fresh tires here is Michael Gudger right behind him, and the last of the 3 is Ted Rekich. We see that white car all the way towards the back of the field. Oh, and around goes Dylan Wilbers, spinning into turn number 1. Back into trap. He's collected big time. 5, 6, 7, one car upside down. James Yerger barrel rolling all the way down the racetrack 5, 6 times. Lands on all fours. It is the big one in turn 1.
And Ted Rekich, unfortunate day for him. That 13 car you saw instantly towed his car back to pits. Remember, Nolan, he'd already used his one fast repair. That's going to be the 13th day done, unfortunately. But let's see how this happened. His contact with the 40 just sends him around. Let's take one more look at that.
I don't understand what happened there. I mean, did Wilbers come off the wall or did Marr push up? But regardless, around goes Wilbers, and those wheels are still turned to the right. He slides back up the racetrack. James Yerger with nowhere to go. He gets piled into the wall. Rekich gets into it. Swaffer gets into it. Then right here, as the 5 piles in, the 19 car is going to have the 17 get under his nose, and up and over it goes, and he goes for a wild flip all the way down the apron, much like, kind of reminds me a little bit there of Joey Logano's flip in 2009 at Dover.
Yeah, bringing up something that I wasn't even alive for when it happened.
You were alive for 2009, really?
No, I'm messing with you.
Okay.
I was 4 years old. So, definitely wasn't watching NASCAR back then, but, yeah, that is a scary crash.
6. That's about 7 rolls that car went for. That is a violent tumble all the way down the apron. I'm shocked that car rolled over the way it did.
That hit is really weird, and I think it's exactly the same thing that happened to me in the Cup car a couple seasons ago at this exact same track too, where Homestead is really weird, where like the lines at that point in the track, they kind of merge into each other. So even though no driver thinks they're in each other's lanes, each of those drivers slightly drift into each other, and it causes really freak accidents like that, because like you said, neither driver was moving into each other. It didn't look like a net code. Like the cars made contact, but both cars looked like they were staying straight on the racetrack. It really is just a weird accident that was caused here today. And yeah, slight tap in the quarter panel.
Oh, Joshua Berg doing a great job to slow her up, and he had a good angle of that 16 going tumbling down the racetrack. But again, a wild ride here that we saw here this afternoon. Take a look at this coming down the stretch with the drone camera, and I feel like it's just 2 lines kind of coming together, and it results in a mess.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't put that on the 16 or the 40 there. It's just this classic case of both drivers slightly moving into each other, causes slight contact, and slight contact at 170 miles an hour results in both cars going around. As once again, we're going to come to the green flag here. This is our fourth time starting, I should say. It's going to be William McKellar the fourth taking the point here. Aaron Raymond lining up alongside him. I don't believe we had any drivers come down pit road. That's a lie. Everybody from 9th all the way down to last place came down pit road for fuel only, it looks like. And your top 8 drivers, they all stayed out. It's going to be William McKellar leading us to the green. As the pace car pulls in, it's the 75, it's the 6. The 75 gets a great jump as the leader gets to control the restart, but Aaron Raymond, he is holding close. He's gonna look for that outside line, maybe see if he can get that quarter panel alongside, and further back in the field, it's the 11 of Jim Coleman'sberger trying to hold off the 38 of Thomas Lane Jr. He's gonna squeeze him down on the exit, and the 39, the 64, the 20, they're all 3 wide just behind them, and just behind that's Elliott Condriger, race winner from last week, and there it is. Aaron Raymond takes the lead around the outside.
Not quite, though. He gets up into the outside wall. McKellar back down to the bottom, trying to scramble back through. McKellar down low, Raymond up top. Aaron Raymond looking to make that drive around the outside. Now he clears with the race lead coming into turn number 1. And other drivers here like Thomas Lane Jr. set to go with them, and Zane Bailey nearly went around as well.
Yeah, remember Zane Bailey and Michael Gudger, they do still have newer tires than most of this field here, so they're still going to try to look to use them for the advantage. I believe that was Aaron May really getting up in the wall there. You see those drivers that are loving that high line. They're tapping the wall ever so slightly almost every lap. You can see the smoke constantly coming off of these walls when they make contact with the cars. Is 11. Look at that, getting really squirrely. You can just kind of see the tail end slip out a little bit, and that's how you know that they're driving that thing with their rears. They're using up those rear tires, and if they do that for too many laps in a row, that's where you start to see what happened with Ted Wreckage, where you slow down too much and chaos ensues.
Ryan Wayne to the inside of Jim Kolmensberger. This FedEx number 11 car started dead last on the field. He is the hard charger of the day. Check that. Sorry, he is not the hard charger of the day. He is actually bested by Willie McKellar, who is up 15 spots here this afternoon. And McKellar getting a little bit twitchy now, coming off the corner. Just behind them again, you got drivers like Kandra trying to fight it out with Kolmensberger and Ryan Wayne all the way up on the outside line. Out of 4. Kandra still is the bottom, but that outside lane, especially quarter exit, is getting rubbered in quite substantially.
Yes, he's really looking to drive that thing down the inside. 39 of riding open that Jim Kolmensberger.
Whoa, hold on.
Oh, was Aaron May gets really loose on those old tires.
Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, Aaron May with a massive scramble down to the inside of the racetrack. Michael Gudger looking to the inside of Tanner Marr. He's trying to fight through, and Marr looking like he wants to uphold another spot further up the road. Tanner Marr right now +7 for the number 40. But Gudger trying to only make it 6.
Yeah, and he's going to have that position as once again he is on that newer set of tires. Going to slide right in front of that bright neon green 40 car of Tanner Marr, which running a new paint scheme. I'm absolutely loving it. Really easy to spot with that nice highlight stripe coming down the middle of that all-white base. And now Zane Bailey is going to have his turn on that 40 machine as he is also on a fresher set of tires. He's going to run it down the inside of Tanner Marr and looking for the move to finish on exit. And as we look towards the front, Aaron Raymond has an 0.8 of a second lead over your pole sitter Cody Gibson. And then half a second behind him is at 75 of William McKellar. And then Michael Gudger and Zane Bailey, as you see on your screen there. Remember, guys, those two are on newer tires. They're the ones looking to charge through this pack and make up as much headway as they can before this next caution comes out. And then down the field is Tanner Marr and Aaron May, both of them struggling on those old tires. We've already seen Tanner May get a bit squirrely with those rears. And then behind him is Jim Kolmensberger, who, remember, started this race in dead last. So all the way up into 8th now. Really good stuff from him. Then closing out your top 10, it's Elliot Condra, remember, who won last week out. And James Yerger, who used that faster pair. We saw him flipping 6 or 7 times earlier this race. Got that faster pair, is fixed his car all the way up, and now fighting for 9th as he's on the inside of the 09 car.
It's probably more like 7 or 8 when I was trying to count them up earlier on. But yeah, Yerger went for a big tumble over in turn numbers 1 and 2. Now he's to the inside of Kandra, trying to make that luck happen, but so far no dice. Aaron May up the road. He's going to get around Tanner Marr. As Yerger going to pick up another one. He's got Kolmensberger to his outside now.
Yeah, that car has a lot of pace in it. Probably because he had to come down to pit road at that last stop. So he probably is another one of these drivers on fresh tires. You remember, he came down just last to get that faster pair in. Now he's going to send it 3 wide on the 40 in the 11. Can he make it stick? sends it on the braking zone. He's already clear. Now he's just got the 10 of Aaron May to his outside. Might be able to clear him as well. The 19 is using these fresh tires to absolute perfection here as he is shooting up the field, and now he's gonna look for that quarter panel of Aaron May, trying to push this 19 into 6th place. Just can't get it done there, but he's gonna have another chance down to 3 and 4. They're gonna exit the corner fairly side by side. Aaron May will get a decent run here, but Yerger still has that quarter panel, still has that side draft on him. He's gonna send it in once again as we enter turn 3.
Tanner Marr trying to battle back down to the inside of Coleman'sberger while Kendra gets set to pick up the pace from above. Meanwhile, Aaron May and James Yerger still double file as they get around to the 1 and 2 this time by as well. 5 laps before we hit the halfway point here this afternoon. This race has kind of flown by us. Handful of cautions already, yes, but they have gone by just as quickly as the laps between them have. And we're starting to stretch this into a bit of a run going now. Right now, freshest tires on the racetrack include Gudger, Bailey, Yerger, and Kendra, while Marr gets loose out of turn 4.
Yeah, it's a very scary moment for that green and white car of Tanner Marr, as now Yerger once again able to escape that pack of older tires, and now he can see if he can close that gap to Zane Bailey, close that gap to Michael Gudger, and start fighting for these podium positions. As look at that, that's Gudger actually. I just noticed that on our timing screens. That's a fight for 3rd. He just got past William McCullough, the 4th, and now Gudger moves up in that final podium position. And turn your attention to the 1 and the 6. They are less than 2 tenths apart from each other. We might have a fight for the lead soon if Cody Gibson can keep finding that pace on Aaron Raymond.
Single file as we work down the back straightaway here. Ryan Wayne trying to look to the inside of Jim Coleman'sberger as Wayne seeks to gather this one up. Coleman'sberger up on the top side. Oh, look out as Ryan Wayne gets the bobble going, but he catches it. But that does allow that FedEx number 11 to get a big run down the front straightaway. But interestingly enough, Coleman'sberger did not make the move coming down towards turn 1.
Yeah, just thought against it that time. Doesn't want to be too risky. Doesn't want to risk anything. Oh, as Aaron May, or Tanner Marr, sorry, almost taps the quarter panel of Coleman'sberger. Nearly sends both of them around. He has to be very careful with that, as Cody Gibson lost a lot of pace in the last couple of laps. Either that or Aaron Raymond started picking it up. But that gap that was 2 tenths jumped all the way up to 7 tenths in literally 2 laps. And now this is where we start thinking about the strategy. William McCullough and who is that? That is Aaron May and William McCullough are both on 34 lap old tires, and they haven't pit for fuel in 34 laps either. So they will be the benchmark of how many laps you can stay out. When William McCullough or Aaron May comes down pit road, that is our sign of like, okay, that is how many laps we can stay out, because those 2 cars, a 75 and a 10, will have to come down pit road very soon. Besides that, Aaron Raymond and Cody Gibson, they are on older tires, but they also only have, they pitted 24 laps ago, but didn't change tires. So their tires are as old as William McCullough's and Aaron May's, but they have 10 more laps of fuel than them. And like Nolan and I have mentioned multiple times, Yerger, Bailey, and Gudger are your drivers on the freshest tires of the field, as we have Paul Witt looking for the inside of Tanner Marr here. This is just an absolute craze fest of who has more pace, who pushed earlier, who has newer tires. Everything is so jumbled up, it's hard to get it straight in your mind almost. Just kind of know that very soon these drivers are going to have to come down to pit lane, and most likely there will be a caution soon that will even the playing field out 100%.
Over halfway home, 3 wide. Coleman'sberger and Witt get a bit tangled up in the middle. Mark Arthur get down to the inside line. Tanner Marr trying to get down there as well. Well, Coleman'sberger now going to transfer up to the high side of the racetrack. Thomas Lane Jr. right behind. Desperate to try and get it in here as well and start climbing the ranks as well. Coleman'sberger up high. Paul Witt in the fray. And now a look to the inside as Tanner Marr is unable to find a hole.
Yeah, Tanner Marr has just kind of been dropping through this pack. You know, I feel like it was just 10 laps ago where he was fighting with Michael Gudger. He was fighting as Aaron May, the 10 car, just lost a lot of positions there. And that is because they have come down pit road. Both him and the 75 and Jim and Coleman'sberger as well came down pit road. So that's 38 laps, Nolan. And for those people at home, for a fuel stint, of course, that number is a bit off because of saving laps under caution. So my prediction will be about 34 to 35 laps of full out pushing on a fuel stint. But now Cody Gibson and Michael Gudger fighting. Gibson, remember, was just about to look for the lead on Aaron Raymond, has fallen back to now Gudger taking that second place, has that inside line, has cleared Cody Gibson, and if he gets a slide job done, he will just secure that second place, and he does, as Cody Gibson in the one car gets a little bit loose on corner exit for himself. He's gonna look to the outside line here, but it's probably just in desperation, as I don't believe that he's gonna be able to even stay alongside Gudger by the time they're exiting this corner, as now Gudger cleared that one car fully, has less than a second to close up to Aaron Raymond and challenge for his first race victory of the season. Because remember, Nolan, he has 2 second places, but still hunting for that first victory. As Gibson getting really loose there. You can tell, yeah, I'm about to say, you can tell that these drivers are struggling on these old tires, because remember, they did only fuel their last pit stop. So their tires are even older than they would ever have expected to run on. These are probably 40 lap old tires now, so their rears are absolutely screaming in pain. There's going to be very little tread left on them, and it's going to be now, that is a 39 coming down pit road. That is Ryan Wayne.
Ryan Wayne into the pits for the first time today. Joshua Bird just on his way out of pit road. 4 tires and fuel is going to be the call. Further down, Paul Witt and Moore all seeing if one of these drivers might be hitting pit road anytime soon. And the answer is no. All 4 will stay out for at least one more lap.
As yeah, these drivers are starting to approach the end of their stint. The next drivers I expect to see in are going to be your leader, Aaron Raymond. It's going to be Tanner Marr in that 40 machine, as well as Thomas Lane Jr. And that will be it. So those are your drivers who are all 31 laps ago made their last stop. So they'll probably be stopping in about 6 or 7 laps because of those cautions. And then, of course, everybody else in the field, they're on 25 laps of this stint. So they still have about 10 or 11 laps on this set of tires before they have to make their next pit stop. And now, with 42 to go, this is where we really start talking fuel strategy. Because if my prediction is correct, and you can comfortably go about 34 or 35 laps on a set of fuel, these drivers that pit 26 laps ago, that's Michael Gudger all the way to Noah Swafford, if you're in that group of cars, you can pit in 10 laps from now and be 100% good no matter what. But if you're a race leader, Aaron Raymond, pitting 33 laps ago, you can probably extend another 5 laps, but you're going to be very tight on that pit window. So if I was that 6 car, I would extend this stint as many laps as I can. Look to see if I can pit with about 35 to go. And even then, you're probably going to have to do a bit of fuel saving if you want to make this a one-stop to the end.
John Buada Jr. right now down pit road, as well as he is getting a set of fresh Goodyears onto the race car. Quickly starts to make his way out. Meanwhile, Thomas Lane Jr. on his way in to pit road this time by, and he will lose the top 10.
Yeah, that's going to be, I believe, that, yeah, Thomas Lane, as I said just a few minutes ago, he is one of those drivers that has to make another pit stop. Or, sorry, one of those drivers that had to make the pit stop soon. And this is a really unfortunate timing for him, because unless he can save 5 or so laps of fuel here, he's going to have to do one more stop after this. So if you're that 38 car, you're really going to want to start holding that clutch in for corners and seeing if you can make this to the end. And that's Aaron Raymond coming down pit lane as well. So he also didn't have the fuel to meet that 35 to go number I was talking about. So if that race winner, that race leader, Aaron Raymond, wants to keep that victory or wants to hold on to the chances of winning this race, he is also going to have to hold that clutch around these corners, stay in that top gear of 5th gear, and really, really hope that he can extend this fuel load out for the rest of the race. But if you're these other cars, if you're Michael Gudger, Zane Bailey, Elliot Condra, Zane Yerger, any of those cars, all the way down to Mike Campbell in 9th position, you are GTG on fuel. You do not need to worry. You have one more pit stop in about 5 laps from now, and that tank will get you to the end of the race. And Michael Gudger, look at that, 3-second lead to Zane Bailey behind. He is going to be the favorite to win this race, definitely, as it stands right now. And Cody Gibson, I want to mention him. You know, we've kind of been following his story the entire time. Remember, he was our pole sitter. And don't worry about the 2 cars behind Gudger. Those are lap cars. That is not for position at all. And going to Gibson, he pit 9 laps ago. So he also does not have enough fuel to make it to the end on this race. But he also has another pit stop, and he's already a lap down. So not the best of races. As, yeah, Gudger getting really loose there. You can tell those tires are old.
Dylan Wilbur's down pit road as well, as Gudger continues to try and just kind of work the traffic here. He's got Joshua Burke and other drivers trying to get around him. Dylan Wilbers appears to have left the session, so problems settling in for Wilbers. And I believe he is out of it.
Maybe we can get a replay on that. Could just be a disconnect problem, internet problem, so many things it could be, but I'm sure we'll take a look at what that is.
I'm not seeing anything showing up in the event recorder, just that he pitted and he never left, so it kind of leads me to think he probably came down pit road and just called it quits.
Okay, so I'm getting a DM. Yes, okay, so Dylan Wilbers, okay, he had to walk his pet fish. So he came down pit road, parked the car, he has to leave the race. His pet fish needs walking. Yeah, that's what it is.
Gee, what now? Okay, I'm not.
As of course I'm being sarcastic.
It wouldn't be the weirdest thing I've heard this month, so I'll roll with it.
Oh, but yeah, unfortunately, Dylan Wilbers probably just had some other commitments that he had to attend to. Walking the pet fish could be one of the options. As we're 3 wide now, that's Gudger, your race leader. And then in front of that's Cody Gibson in the wall and loose. And Aaron Raymond. Now the 6 and the 1, they are battling for position. And they did just unlap themselves as Gudger comes down pit road, making his final pit stop of the race. But this battle, the 6 and the 1, I feel like this is going to get very, very fierce.
Raymond to the inside of Cody Gibson. Gibson took his first SRA win earlier this season at Atlanta Motor Speedway when he was having quite the battle with Michael Gudger in the closing laps. That saw Gudger spin it off the final quarter. Meanwhile, Raymond pulls up from the inside, clears Cody Gibson. And Gibson going to look to track him back down all the way down the back straightaway. Michael Gudger's in the pit road. So is Paul Witt. The battle for 6th place remains a hot one. Top 2 into the lane.
Yeah, all of those drivers that I mentioned earlier, that top 9 that were running, now it's going to be your top 4 that are running as Mike Campbell, the last one to pit, all making their last pit stop coming down pit road. And they did hit that 35 to go number that I was talking about just 5 minutes ago. So they are all good on fuel. And once again, I'll run down the list. Ladies and gentlemen, those people that are not good on fuel are Aaron Raymond, Cody Gibson, and every single person below them as well. So not Michael Gudger. Aaron Raymond and Cody Gibson and Ryan Wayne and Aaron May and Jim Coleman'sberger. Those are going to be your drivers that still have to make one more pit stop. And of course, those are your top 6 drivers as it's running, as Zane Bailey, Michael Gudger is leading that pack of drivers that are good. So he actually, even though he was on those tires a lot longer and got undercut by many, many drivers, he's able to hold on to 3rd place there, which is really, really impressive. Only Cody Gibson and Aaron Raymond came out of that cycle ahead of him. So great stuff from Gudger, and he's going to have this race fairly in the bag. Hoping he doesn't spin it off at the final corner again.
Mike Campbell is into pit road. He will be one of the last drivers we were waiting on to make their pit stops here this afternoon. James Yerger, meanwhile, up in number 8. Looking to fend off Tanner Marr and co. from deeper in the field. Will McKellar just left pit road. He has just come down for his final stop as well.
Yeah, as it's now just really, really confusing of what drivers on what strategy and, who's good and who's not. But in not in a couple laps time, but in about 20 laps time, they'll all sort themselves out and all will be revealed, all will be clear. As this is the battle between the 09 and the 40 for 9th position. This is not a lap car. These are 2 drivers battling for position because all of the lap cars have kind of now made their way back around. And now that that last pit cycle has fully finished, we're not going to see too much issue with lap cars anymore. As we saw Gudger had to fight with some, and there's a lot of chaos around that. But no, this is for position as the 09 takes that high line around the 40. And look at that, the 12 car in that Taco Bell machine of Mark Arthur just waiting in the wings, waiting for his opportunity, biding his time, as now the 09 just took the high line, looking for the low side, completely climbed the elevator there, and actually clears himself on Tanner Marr, and Mark Arthur now looking for the move on that 40 machine. He clears himself as well. So a terrible corner for Tanner Marr, absolutely not what he wanted, as he didn't only lose 1 position, he lost 2. And Cody Gibson, realizing he wasn't good on fuel, is going to make that pit stop early, going to cut his losses there, and to see if he can get a new set of tires and push out and see how much damage limitation he can do and see how many positions he can make up before this race ends. As now Mark Arthur sends it to the inside to clear on Elliott Condra.
Mark Arthur going to duck around Condra here with the 09 as Elliott going to once again get that drive back from the outside. This is that multi-group nature of Homestead-Miami Speedway, right? It's it leads to the outside lane being so prevalent. Mid-corner, corner exit. The inside lane's still viable, but you got to really chuck it in there, especially get late into some of these green flag runs when both lanes have been fully weathered in. The number 12 of Arthur still tracking up from the inside and trying to clear, but Condra just keeps getting the nose and coming off of these corners, and it makes it super difficult to try and battle them. You've also got Zane Bailey in a similar problem with Ryan Wayne. Ryan Wayne, of course, on old tires, and then Zane Bailey trying to make the pass down low, and he's got it done.
Yeah, Zane Bailey now moves up to 3rd position. Remember, his main battle is with Michael Gudger. So that 20 machine really wants to try and see if he can close that 5.5 second gap up to the Michael Gudger, as we have Jim Coleman'sberger pitting, as Aaron May coming in for this last pit stop. And now this is when the field starts to settle out. A lot of these drivers are realizing, oh crap, I do not have enough fuel to make it to the end. They're cutting their losses early, just like Cody Gibson was doing. They're coming down pit road. Elliott Condra now Mark Arthur now finally makes the move on Elliott Condra. He can just do nothing but slide in there, as I believe that is the lapped car of Mike Campbell right in front of them. He should not make this move too much trouble for the 12 machine. Should just let him by, so that Mark Arthur now can turn his sights on to James Yerger just up ahead. Look at that, he's actually right there. Mark Arthur will be within pouncing distance in just a couple of laps. As now we go back further in the field, that is John Espawalda Jr. versus Thomas Lane Jr. It's the junior on junior battle. The 5 and the 38, the 5 opting for the inside line, the 38 riding it up all the way on that top side, and the 5 nearly clears himself mid-corner, doesn't get the slide job just in time, and he's going to have to file in behind the 38 on this occasion.
Bawada looking for the inside to go around Lane, unable to have a bit of a move for him. Meanwhile, Larry Bell having a scrap with William McKellar as well as Cody Gibson. Gudger tracking up from the inside line. Oh boy, look how Gibson's into the outside wall. They're able to gather it all up there. And race leader Aaron Raymond down pit road for the final time of his pit stop run. Brian Wayne just took 4 tires and fuel. He is going to be back out with 22 to go.
Yeah, and if you're Cody Gibson, you do not want to be on. You do not want to be a lap down here. The whole reason that you kind of pit early like that was to get fresh tires and was to push and make up positions before your rivals pit, before the people that you're fighting pit. So the fact that Michael Gudger is able to keep him on the lap down, kind of halt his progress, is really not what you want for that one machine. As what it's looking like right now, no, I don't want to jinx anything, but we're probably gonna stay green for the rest of this race. So Cody Gibson really needs to get around that 64 machine and start making up some places. As Elliot Condra, just got cleared by Mark Arthur, he is not letting that 12 machine escape him at all. He is staying tightly bound to the nose of that machine, staying in his draft, trying to see if that 12 machine makes a mistake, he can pounce on it or something like that, but he is not letting him run away at all. And once again, I'll remind the viewers at home which drivers still have to pit for fuel. It is not many at this point, as a lot of them have made their final stops, but Tanner Morrow still has to come in for a pit stop. Thomas Lane Jr. has to come in for a pit stop, and the last one is Ryan Wayne. So those three drivers that have to come to make a pit stop, and everybody else will be good on fuel.
You realize that now that you said we're going to go green to Dan, it's not going to happen, right?
As I said it, I was like punching myself. I know, I'm so sorry.
It's like saying you're having a quiet day when you're an emergency worker, right? It's all going to go to hell in a handbasket now that you said that.
Yeah, as I was saying, I'm like, I jinxed it, dang it.
Well, still a ways to go, 19 laps. There's time. There's plenty of times for you to be proven wrong, as Elliot Condra trying to fit the inside Mark Arthur. No dice for him. Further behind Aaron Raymond, who is good to go the distance. He is right now pushing up with Michael Gudger. Gudger, we believe, does need to come down pit road.
I think Gudger's good. Gudger's definitely good.
I don't know. I mean, he pitted 15 laps ago.
I mean, I would assume that 33 seems pretty reasonable. And if he did opt to full push and not save the extra laps, that would just kind of be throwing. So I'm gonna back the 64 and say that I think he's good, but I definitely could be wrong. I'll say that.
Raymond will reclaim the top 10 as he picks off William McKellar. Drives her in deep into turn numbers 3 and 4. Not a lot of movement right now as drivers are continuing to put up some good fights here. Let's ride on board with James Yerger, the driver that was upside down earlier tonight. He runs now in third. We'll ride aboard with him for a couple laps, and we'll rejoin you in just a few. 10 laps to go. James Yerger being steadily caught by Mark Arthur back for the third place position here. The Home Depot number 19 has been on a bit of a struggle bus lately as he tries to fend off the number 12. But I mean, I know Michael Gudger is still gunning for that first win, right? But wouldn't it be something if James Yerger can go from barrel rolling at least 7 times down the apron of 1 and 2 to then going and turning that around to get a podium?
That would be like absolutely mind-blowing because, you know, usually you see a car upside down, that car is done for the day, but luckily with this league in the SRA, you do have that fast repair. So if you're caught up in that unfortunate crash that wasn't your fault, or just some freak accident happens that you didn't have a control over, you aren't out of the race yet. You still have that opportunity to bring yourself back in as that car is spinning behind.
Sorry,
I only caught a glimpse of that.
Yeah, that was Aaron May. He kind of tagged off the door of Kendra and then bounced into the outside wall. Not too much damage on that for sure, though both of them were going to go around, and you were about to eat your words for saying we're going to run the rest of this race clean.
I think you would kill me post-stream, so I'm really hoping that doesn't happen.
No.
Because I do like this job. I don't want to get fired, you know?
I wouldn't do it post-stream. I would do it when you least expect it.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to have to sleep with one eye open tonight. You heard it here first, guys. Yeah, and Michael Gudger still has that 4.5-second gap to Zane Bailey as, once again, car is still running the wall as Thomas Lane Jr. make his last piss up of the race.
I believe that was Aaron Raymond that just went around the outside of Tanner Marr. Meanwhile, Arthur closing the gap back down. About a 10th and a half between Arthur and Yerger. As these guys really putting in the work here. Doing a phenomenal job on keeping the fight going. But, oh, right there you saw Arthur. He didn't quite know where to go because Yerger flashed out. He's going to send that one to the inside, and Yerger is put off of the podium.
Yeah, unfortunate for Yerger, but I just don't think he saved his tires as well as Mark Arthur did. And along with those connection issues that might be inhibiting his ability to drive as well. So unfortunately, James Yerger spinning down the pit lane, not going to finish on the podium. Aaron Raymond, though, can chill out with the wall. I think there's enough teal on his car already from how many times he's hit it. He doesn't have to hit it anymore, as there's going to be a huge Darlington stripe on that thing by the time this race is over.
He's been rebounding off that wall kind of hard the last little while, and you know, that rebounding off the wall, this is actually kind of helping him pull up a little bit here to Noah Swabber right in front of him. You see him lift off, right? He pushes the outside wall. He gets into the wall, and then he just floors it. I think this is calculated. I think he's riding that wall to get an advantage, and that's against the rules in this league. It has been for some time because of a bit of a scandal of what happened at Eldora Speedway a while back, but he's backed off now. But oh man, look at him kick the tail down. But look at how much of a run he's able to get on Noah Swabber now, down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Going around the outside of him this time by. Catches the fence again, puts the throttle in. And that's going to give him some more momentum, but this time he got into the wall too hard. He's going to lose it.
Yeah, that can't be legal, because watching it from that angle and hearing the engine, this seems like a pretty blatant wall ride to me. Of course, it's going to be hard to prove that it's intentional wall riding. There's a lot of factors that the stewards will have to look at.
Oh, of course.
From a driver's perspective, from someone that has a lot of time on many ovals and many cars, this is blatant wall riding in my eyes. I don't want to hand out any penalties from the casters, but you know.
It's there. That's all I'm gonna say, right? I mean, look at how quickly they call Paul Witt down the front stretch. He's gonna lunge for the inside, push all the way up, keeps it off the wall. Big slider there on Paul Witt, and Aaron Raymond is going to slip through as well. Michael Gudger, meanwhile, coming off in turn number 4, looking for the white flag this time by. Make that turn 2.
Yeah, he's just got a couple more laps to hold it steady. We're hoping that he can do it this time. I really am backing the 64 LSU machine. I absolutely felt the heartbreak for him in Old Atlanta. I felt the heartbreak at Daytona. Of course, these are the 2 races where he finished second, and I think that this could be his chance, as now he will take the white flag with 1 to go. He's got lap cars in front of him. Please do not take out the leader on the last lap cars. I will never forgive you.
That is John Walter Jr. It's Tanner Marr, Willie McKellar just in front of them. A couple of these guys battling for position as well. Gudger gets by one. He's going to look to get by the other as well. Michael Gudger, no competition. He's going to come around through 3 and 4. He came so close to winning Atlanta. Tonight, it will be a guaranteed win as Gudger walks it off at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Real race from the 64, and Zane Bailey in that 20 will bring it home in second. And just behind him, Mark Arthur will round out your podium, making that move with go on James Yerger. So great race from your top 3 and your podium finishers. And James Yerger will come home in 4th. Remember, he was on top, or sorry, his car was upside down at one point in this race. So great comeback all the way to 4th. And it's going to be Elliot Condra, Aaron Raymond, Noah Swafford, and Paul Witt closing our top 7. And look at that, the victory bumps from Bailey to Gudger, showing just showing how much these drivers respect each other and how close they have become.
On some sides of the grid, at least. I'm sure that might be a debatable sentiment elsewhere, knowing some of the tensions that can flare up in this league. But Michael Gudger finally takes his first win of the season after he came so close at the Atlanta Motor Speedway earlier this season, and now he can burn it down as a happy man on the front straightaway.
I just love listening to those tires burn, the tires burn, the engine squeal, the great sounds that you get from that Gen 4 race car. And this is going to shake up the championship standings just a little bit. Because remember, it's Zane Bailey and then Gudger. 1-2 currently in the standings. And with Gudger winning this race, I believe he's going to pick up 5 or 6 points on Zane Bailey, which will close that gap down to just 4 points heading into next week, and that will be some great action to watch.
Take a look at the race results leaving tonight. It's Michael Gudger coming home number 1. 4.5 seconds back, it's Zane Bailey. Then it's Mark Arthur down in 3rd. James Yerger in 4th. Cantor in 5th. Then it is Raymond, Swafford, Witt, and McKellar to close out 5th through 9th. Tanner Marr, first car, 1 lap down, rounds out the top 10 this afternoon.
And then coming home in 11th, it is Ryan Wayne, followed behind your pole sitter of Cody Gibson in that 1 machine. And then Aaron May in a 10, Mike Campbell, Jim Coleman-Sperger, Thomas Lane Jr., John Bovada Jr. Those are your drivers that finished 1 lap down. And then 2 laps down, Larry Bell and Joshua Burke. And then just behind them is a 16 of Dylan Wilbers and Ted Reckich in the 13 to close it out.
All of that takes us to the close of racing action here this afternoon. Let's jump back and give a chit-chat here to the drivers that come home. Numbers 1, 2, and 3 tonight. We'll bring up first and foremost Michael Gudger, taking home a solid win this afternoon by 4.6 seconds here this afternoon. Michael, this win, one that you had to kind of work for, but hey, it's a good solid win, and no doubt it's a good consolation prize after coming so close at Atlanta Motor Speedway earlier this season.
Finally won a fuel mileage race. I can't believe that. I felt like I was probably one of the fastest cars in the race, but I just could never show it because it seemed like from the very beginning of the race, it was gas save, fuel save, fuel save, fuel save, and then caution come out and it's fuel save, fuel save, fuel save, and then another caution came out and then all of a sudden it's still fuel saving, but was able to fuel save the most and got out in front of Zane by a pretty good distance, and we're just able to cruise to the victory and finally didn't get screwed out of one, and it's just it's so nice.
Kind of walk us through what the strategy was like this afternoon. Quite a few cautions in the opening half of the race, and once got to about lap 40, you were able to go green to the end, but fuel was always going to be a bit of a question mark. Several drivers couldn't make it. You were one of the ones that could.
I know. I actually was planning on fuel saving from the very beginning because we were like 9 laps short, and with 3 runs, you could definitely save 3 laps and definitely make it, but it was but then cautions just kept coming out, and they always fell in just the same places to always make it a fuel strategy race. And it's feels like pretty much every single race for the past like 3 or 4 have been fuel strategy races, which is starting to get kind of old. But I can't really complain about winning one finally. so much stuff has just went wrong. Internet disconnect, just bad, just unlucky strategy, straight up skill issue at Atlanta. That was the choke of the century, but finally had one come all together, and glad to walk away with a win here and go to Dover. Hopefully we can do the same thing.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. We go racing next week at the Monster Mile. Congratulations on taking home number 1, and it'll be 125 around Dover Motor Speedway next week. We'll see you there.
Alrighty, thank you.
Country Comes Zone number 1 here this afternoon. We'll bring on up Zane Bailey, the driver, finishing this one off. Number 2, he stands by with Lucas Moody.
Yes, welcome Zane Bailey. Congrats on your second place. Talk us through this strategy, of course, because it seemed like it was a fuel race run out there. So talk us through how you're able to manage that. Were you using the clutch at all, or just heavy lifting into the corners?
I was just heavy lifting, backing up pretty far. Wish I didn't save as much fuel in that first, like the second to last run, because I still had a lap and a half left at the end. In the final stint, I didn't save at all. So I feel like because the last stint I was at like 0.7 laps, so I just saved 0.3 just so I could make it another full lap and the 0.7 not to be wasted. But I probably should have just pitted that one lap sooner, and I feel like then I might have had a chance to get the win.
Yeah, but of course we saw that on that race start initially, you started, I believe, in 3rd place, but you got right around Gibson and Gudger using that outside line. So talk us through how you're able to really get the jump on them and make that race start really matter.
Yeah, I messed up. My turns 1 and 2 were pretty good of my second lap, but 3 and 4, I checked up way too much in 3 and 4, and I turned it way too down, way too early, so center had to park it to rotate it. Lost a bit of time there. I feel like I might have got the pole if that didn't happen, but at least I don't get wrecked out on a restart this race, so that's a big plus.
And then my final question for you, Zane, was what are you looking forward to at Dover next week? Is it a track you like, track you don't like? What's your thoughts on it?
Dover, I don't really like Dover. Homestead, I don't really like it, did okay. But hopefully you can turn the car, because at least tonight, center through exit, you could turn the car, but entry was so tight. But hopefully you can turn it next week.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, and that was our second place finisher of Zane Bailey. And Nolan, I believe you are standing aside Mark Arthur, our 3rd place finisher.
Mark Arthur going to walk away with 3rd here this afternoon with the Taco Bell number 12 here this afternoon. Mark, a bit of a quiet night for you. Quite a few kind of side-by-side battles there early on. But once you started to go along just shy of the halfway point, you're able to kind of just cruise away with a distant 3rd place. How was the night for you?
I'm not used to these shorter races. We run BPL on Sundays, and they're a bit longer and a little less tires. And it's probably a brain fart for me. I only changed tires once the whole race, and I didn't change the tires till like lap 40 something. And that was a mistake, right? Because I fell back, but the tires wasn't bad. Like even on that, at the end of the runs, I was only like 2/10 off the leader. So the tires held up pretty good here, but I don't know. Had I took more tires and tried to stay up there with them, I might have been a different night. But hell, I'm happy with a 3rd.
It was a good effort for you here this afternoon. Of course, we look at how this championship has gone for you. You've only made a handful of starts this afternoon, so a championship probably not on the line for the number 12 here this season. Do you have any overall goals throughout the remaining 7 races, or it's going to be kind of more just playing it week by week and see what comes your way?
My main goal running these little races is learning everybody in the league pretty much, right? So first come in here, didn't know how some of them race, probably got tangled up with a few of them, just not knowing their driving tendencies and stuff. But I'm learning most of them now, who you can run tight, who you can't. So basically preparing for that truck season, and I guess we'll make a run for it for the trucks.
Well, the truck series might come up a bit sooner than you think. In the meantime, it's the Monster Mile next week. Will we be seeing you out in Dover, Delaware?
Yeah, I'll be here. I missed a couple weeks because I went on a cruise, and then start of the football season, I went to the first college football game here, and that's why I missed last week. But I'll be here from here on out.
All right, well, wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again. Congratulations on taking home number 3, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Nola.
Mark Arthur comes home 3rd this afternoon, and Lucas, that's effectively going to be it for us here this afternoon. Championship standings exiting tonight. Zane Bailey, unsurprisingly, retains the top spot on this one, but Michael Gudger with that win, starting to close in. He is now only 8 points out.
Yeah, and then just behind them, it's, I believe, how quick is my math? 21 points behind is that 429 car of Paul Witt, and then William McKellar the 4th. Thank you. But then 14 behind him is Elliot Condra. 3 behind them, Thomas Lane Jr. And look at that, we have a tie for 7th between Gibson and Bawalda. Then Aaron Raymond and Joshua Burke close out your top 10 in the championship.
Well, we will wish you all the best of luck going forward, right? I probably will, unfortunately, not be able to be there. I'll likely be down to that Speedway for championship night, so it'll likely be you and Howie Burrows in the broadcast booth once again. But before we get to that and more, there's still more action still to come here on Green Flag TV. When we go racing once again, it'll be on Monday night, coming on up for us here this afternoon. That'll be it for the High Tire Racing League at the Echo Park Speedway. But before we get to that, a triple header on Sunday with the Classic IndyCar Series out at Mid-Ohio, Blaze Metals ARCA Series action at Phoenix, and then the For the Boys Racing League down at Kentucky Speedway as well. Omas Robiata Homestead alongside the Progressive Racing Sim Cams Expo Truck Series' season opener at Wednesday, alongside the final race of the Beer League. That will be coming on up this Wednesday as well. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. Once again, my name is Manolo Rempel. Alongside me tonight has been Lucas Moody. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all next week in Delaware.